You've just tuned in to the nexus of inspiring, encouraging, and uplifting leaders who share their successes and their failures. Insights that will motivate, cultivate, educate, and illuminate your path to a very bright future. Welcome to Shaping the Future podcast. Here's your host, Gregg Kell.
Welcome to this latest episode of Shaping the Future podcast. And today, we are blessed to interview and meet Steve Mahard, the Director of Operations at SEOLeads, headquartered in Los Angeles. Steve, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for having me. My name is Steve Mahard. I've been married for 20 years. I have a lovely wife and two boys, ages 11 and 13. As a family, we love to do things together, take trips. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, we went to Sequoia National Park and went camping. We love that kind of thing. We're also foodies, so we enjoy new experiences wherever we go.
Are you that kind of family that loves to give Yelp reviews when you go into a restaurant? Because that's what makes a foodie.
I love Yelp reviews. In fact, that's how we find some of our most favorite spots we found is from other Yelpers.
Excellent. Okay, so share us a little bit with the Future Shapers audience about your professional background and what brought you to SEOLeads.
I've been doing online marketing for a little over 10 years. I kind of fell into it, but it's something that I have a passion for. I enjoy it, and my business partner approached me here a couple of years ago after I had worked for him for a period of time. And we talked about building a business together. And that's where we're at with SEOLeads.
Business partner, would his first name be Colin by chance?
Yes, it would. Colin O'Brien.
Excellent. Okay. Steve, we and our Future Shapers audience are passionate about entrepreneurship, creating something that is not there before. We are passionate about innovation, and we believe together entrepreneurship plus innovation will generate higher productivity, profits, and growth. That is what the Future Shapers are about. Tell me, Steve, from a business perspective, what are you most passionate about today?
Greg, I would have to say I'm most passionate about relationships. When people ask me, what do you do? My answer is I'm in the relationship business. Oh, and I do online marketing on the side. I think everybody should be in the relationship business, and what they actually do for work should be their side gig.
Interesting. Relationships. That is so much from the perspective of both parties, in particular, your counterpart. How do you evaluate, from a business perspective, the quality of the relationships that you build?
Well, it starts with listening. Once you understand what either a client or prospective client is looking for, when you understand their needs and what their marketplace is like, then you can better understand the approach to take. And so oftentimes it's the dialogue, but just listening, which gets me to that next level.
And there you have it, Future Shapers, a value bomb dropped by Steve Mahard today. He expresses the value of being a listener, yes, an active listener, to better understand the needs of your friends, ultimately to craft an outcome that is mutually beneficial. Listening, Future Shapers, are the heart of all positive business experiences. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
All right. So tell me about what we found in life. Sometimes a curveball gets thrown at us. Would you share with our audience today a short story about your worst experience as the leader at SEOLeads?
Well, my story kind of predates SEO leads. It takes me back about 10 years ago when I was marketing for this franchise company that I had. Not only was I marketing for it, I at the time got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. Couldn't figure out what was going on. I was walking around like an old man. I couldn't even pick up a young child. So that posed a real big challenge. But in that whole time period, I was trying to figure out how to market my website. And I was getting all kinds of answers from different people. Nobody was ever able to be straight with me. There was a lot of mystery behind everything. And prices were all over the place. So I figured I have to learn how to do this on my own. And so I took that experience and the feelings that I had there, and I've applied those to SEO leads. So today when we get a client, it's about taking the time to explain things in a way that the client will understand. So they know what's going on. There is no mystery behind what we're doing. There's a reason why we do everything that we do. And there's always a goal or a result that we want to get from our tasks.
Excellent. So take the time to explain, help the customers to understand.
Yep.
What I understand that you had so let's call it a physical impediment that sort of led you to change your professional life. What do you think are some of the biggest lessons that you have learned from overcoming that challenge?
Empathy. I now have more empathy than I had before, which I've taken that and applied that to business. We don't always know how business owners feel about their business, but I can understand struggle. And I get when they don't know who to turn to, which way to go, how to find the answers. They know they need to do something, but they don't know what. So having empathy and treating each client on their own merits, and not just trying to fit everybody into a box. That's what I've taken out of my physical problems that I had before.
Outstanding lesson, Steve. Let me see if I can just restate it and shape it just a little bit better for the perspective, from the benefit of our listening audience. According to Steve, empathy plus respect yields trust. I believe trust is golden.
Yep.
Outstanding. Okay, so Steve, when you look forward, here we are on July 5th of 2018. We are just past the first half of this year. When you look forward into the second part of 2018, from a business perspective, as a director of operations, what is your most important goal? And as a corollary, what do you intend to achieve?
Well, goals are always good to have, but obviously growth. We want to see growth, but we want growth that's scalable. So that's what we're looking at right now is how can we scale our growth so we can grow in a good way, but keep our clients happy and not just grow for the sake of growing. So
can you, for the benefit of our listening audience, define scalability, maybe in contrast to the word growth? Those are two similar but radically different words.
Certainly. So we want to be in a situation where we can take a product, a method, a means of doing something, and be able to use it for all of our clients, but still have it be customizable enough to where we give our client what they need, the solutions that they're looking for. And like I said before, not just sticking them into a box. So you have to find ways to build your systems. It's really important to have systems in place, because once you have those systems, now you can scale.
And there you have it. Future Shapers, another value bomb dropped by Steve Mahard. It is critical in a growing business to have effective systems and processes that are able to be replicated in order to scale the business in a sustainable way. That is what SEO Leads is looking to do in the second half of 2018.
You got it.
We have found that life is not always rainbows and sunshines. Sometimes businesses face challenges. When you look forward to creating that sustainable and scalable growth, what are the biggest challenges that you perceive that you will face?
Online marketing seems like it changes very rapidly. What worked 10 years ago just doesn't work today. So you need to stay ahead of the curve. And so the challenges we see is making sure that we're on the cutting edge, looking forward, seeing what's working, what's not working, what to avoid. Those are the challenges that we have because it's an ever-changing industry.
So you're concerned about the ever-changing nature of the field that you're in. You don't want to just rest on your laurels. You need to stay at the cutting edge, but maybe not the bleeding edge.
Exactly.
So how will you overcome these challenges? What is the specific tasks or processes that would help you to, again, for a positive perspective to the benefit of your clients, stay ahead of the curve?
Well, no matter how much you know, there's always more to learn. So to stay on the cutting edge, there's a few different individuals that I follow their blogs, the articles that they write. I listen to them at seminars. I find that through the years, they've given good direction. They have insights. And so studying, just keeping a pace with changes in the industry is been a real helpful thing through the years.
Would you be willing, Steve, to drop a few names?
Neil Patel is one of my favorites.
Yep.
He's a great guy. One of my other favorites used to work for Google, and he's moved on. His name is Matt Cutts.
Yep.
He had a lot of great advice in the videos that he had. So those are just a couple.
I think Matt was blessed with a very inside perspective. He had some inside knowledge of the inner workings of that Google thing.
Definitely.
He shared it well. Okay. So I understand, Steve, that prior to your position at SEO Leads, you worked with a franchise type of business in a marketing function of some sort. Is that sort of a fair summary?
It is.
But you've been sort of working on your own for a while.
Yes. So I had a franchise where I was the marketing director for the Los Angeles area, and I enjoyed it. It worked great.
So, Steve, we're going to go in the Wayback Machine, way back before that time. If you can remember in the distant past when you actually worked for someone else and you thought, you know what, I would like to have my own business. I would like to be an entrepreneur. I see that as me. Can you remember that time for us now?
Yes.
Tell us about what was holding you back, a concern that you may have felt, a fear that you might have had that prevented you ultimately from becoming an entrepreneur, that you were able to overcome. Share us a brief story.
Well, what was holding me back was my age. My first business I started, I was 17 years old.
Oh.
I had been working for a nursery and florist, and I learned that I had a love for plants, and I wanted to start my own plant rental company. And my parents kind of laughed at me. I was still living at home, obviously. But they were very supportive, and that was the first business I launched was a plant rental company.
And since that age is a impediment that's sort of difficult to overcome in and of itself, because it's a number, how did you overcome that concern or the fear to have the guts to be able to start that company?
It really came from having a passion for doing what I was doing at the time. That was the real motivating factor. I was also looking to have flexibility, and candidly, I thought owning your own business would just be cool when I was that age. I didn't realize all the work and effort that would go into it, but it helped me to get over the hurdle of being an employee. It helped me to take that next step and to actually move forward with my dreams.
Because you felt that owning a business is a cool thing to do as a high school student. Outstanding. Okay, so now we're going to fast forward. Now we're all the way back up at SEOLeads. Tell me, Steve, why did you accept your current position at SEOLeads? What makes this business unique and compelling for you to invest your time, your talents, and quite frankly, your blood, sweat, and tears into?
There's a lot of marketing companies that people can choose from. So it wasn't that there was a need for another marketing company, but so many marketing companies do it with no passion. You're just another client to them. One of the things that Colin and I set out to do in building this company was to not only offer a service, but to have a relationship with our clients. And so that's what we've done. We've built it with mutual trust, with excellent communication between us and our client, and then with integrity. We don't do things just for the sake of doing it. We do things when there's value to our client. And so that's why it's been worth it to build this business with Colin.
Outstanding. Trust, communication, and integrity. Sounds like a value bomb to me. Those are long-term sustainable drivers that underlie any successful business. And that's a good thing, since that defines the relationship or how you perceive your relationship with your clients. Tell me, Steve, please describe what the attributes of the ideal client for SEOLeads today.
Ideal attributes are clients who want to learn, who have a desire to see results. We love clients that ask questions, because when they ask questions, they want that knowledge. We love it when clients actually pick apart our work and help us to zero in on exactly what their needs are, that only a client can see or tell us. We love that kind of thing. So a client that is very involved with us is our most favorite type of client.
Excellent. An involved, mutually beneficial client relationship that grows and prospers over time. Steve, you have been in different forms of business, entrepreneurship for quite a while. I take it you're just a couple years over 17 by this point.
Just a few.
What is the best advice you have ever received?
Wow. The best advice I have ever received is to ask the following question: is that the best you can do? When you ask that question, you're asking the individual or whoever you're working with, have they given you everything they possibly can? And oftentimes you'll get very interesting responses when you ask a question of that nature. So that's probably one of the things that I've enjoyed the most learning through the years.
Is that the best you can do? Future Shapers audience, put that question in your reservoir here. All right. We, within our Future Shapers community, are a big believer in education, reading, and continuous mental improvement. Is there a book you might recommend to the Future Shapers audience, Steve, and why?
One of my most favorite books is called Good to Great by Jim Collins. Mm-hmm. I've not only read the book a couple times, I have it on CD, and I've almost worn out the CDs. The principles in that book are fantastic for any business, no matter how small or how large.
Steve, can you putting you on the spot, pick out one principle within that book that you think it has impacted your professional career?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Here's two that I like. There's the hedgehog. A hedgehog knows how only to do one thing. And so when you can do that one thing and do it great, it'll serve you well. So I love that principle, but I also love the principle. They talk about having all the people on the bus. It's not only having the people on the bus, it's having the right people in the right seats on the bus. So sometimes when you're working with employees, they might be doing an okay job in one position, but they might be able to do a better job in a different position. So not just to move people through just because they're not meeting their expectations in one area. I think those are two great things from that book.
Hedgehog and people on the bus. Thank you, Steve, for sharing. I know that I put you on the spot, but I think you recollected, you summarized, and make it very, there's a very cohesive response to a challenging question. Outstanding. Okay. We, in the Futures Shapers, believe that simple actions, yes, habits, that are consistently followed over time work together to produce an outstanding result. That is the essence of shaping the future. Tell me, Steve, what are you doing right now to shape your either personal or professional future?
That's a good question. Being on a good routine is critical. It's critical for anything and everything. It's critical for personal relationships. It's critical for just good health. It's critical in a business setting. So having a good routine and sticking to it is something that I always strive to improve.
Outstanding. Routines are actually not just drudgery. They're a good thing because you can measure them in many cases.
Yep.
Okay, Steve, I'm going to place you up on a pedestal. Uh-oh. And you're going to answer a very important question to benefit our listening audience. Steve, what big advice can you share with the Future Shapers today?
Well, big advice. Well, follow your heart, follow your dreams. It's going to take a lot of work, but if you follow those dreams, you won't have regrets. You'll never look back in life and go, well, what would life have been like had I done this or had I done that? Follow your dreams and see where they take you.
Outstanding. Follow your dreams. An excellent quote from Steve Mahard. Okay. Well, Steve, in closing, could you please share with our listeners how those that are interested can contact you?
Yeah, that would be great. SEOleads.io is the best way to get a hold of us. SEO stands for social, email, organic. So SEOleads.io is the best way to get a hold of us.
Outstanding. Thank you for your time, Steve. And thank you, Future Shapers, for hanging out in this latest episode of Shaping the Future podcast. Get ready, because the next episode is right around the corner. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for joining this episode of Shaping the Future podcast. We leave you, Future Shapers, with this challenge. Act boldly today to shape your future, because if you don't, it will absolutely be shaped for you.